Hi, everybody. This is Josh Becerra from Agrarian. This is another episode of Augurs on the Town. I am here with Rick Gardiner, CEO of iAffiliate. Rick, how you doing?
Good, Josh. How are you today?
Great. I appreciate you being here. You know, Rick and I, we've known each other for quite a while. It goes all the way back to a time when we were each co-officing in a co-working space downtown Minneapolis, CoCo. You remember those days?
I do. Reminisce about those a lot. It's kind of a fun place to start, and it's cool to see where we're at today. But I think it was a good opportunity to get to know each other. And thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, there was a great mix of people there. It was a lot of fun. But everybody's business has kind of grown up, so I'm really anxious to get started talking with you a little bit about affiliate marketing. I know that's your area of expertise, and a lot of people don't necessarily, know that much about it. So why don't you just tell us why brands should even care about affiliate marketing, how they should think about it fitting into their marketing mix?
Sure. Yeah, I think, a lot's changed with our businesses. A lot's changed within our industry as well. So, affiliate marketing back in the day was pretty siloed. So I think you kind of had your traditional affiliates that consisted of, coupon sites, cash back, very early days, paid search, affiliates that were doing basically arbitrage, paid search. And ultimately, when CMOs and brands started kind of looking under the hood, they weren't always, happy to see what they found. So now, especially with the shift of direct-to-consumer e-commerce and where the industry is at today and the types of partners that you can work with through the affiliate channel, people are starting to pay attention and really invest in the channel a lot more than they have in the past.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, for a time, affiliate could have been considered kind of a dirty word, but it's come a long way. So tell us a little bit about that, why it had a bad rep, and then what's really changed structurally today that gives advertisers confidence.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think one of the biggest things that's changed in this industry is just, the types of publishers that brands can work with. So now, a lot of the larger media publications, the Condé Nast, the Business Insider, Newsweek, historical media conglomerates are really leaning into the affiliate model as a publisher side, just to diversify and monetize their content. But also, brands are really leaning into this pay-for-performance model. And, what's cool about that from a advertising perspective is that these affiliates and publishers live at various stages of the consumer journey. You'll have, your influencers and content sites that tend to be top of funnel, really good for prospecting, creating that awareness. And then you have all these different publishers along the way, helping guide the consumer. Hopefully the messaging is consistent. The affiliate is representing the brand, sharing the brand story, the value and brand benefits.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're all working together to really, achieve one thing, and that's, driving incremental revenue.
For sure. Yeah. And I think probably there's got to be some crazy changes in the technology as well. So brands that are really leaning into these platforms, they probably have access to more of that data. So they actually are, it's more tech enabled, I would imagine, today than it ever has been. So can you talk a little bit about how maybe the tech has changed, or what you're most excited about as far as things that you're seeing in the industry?
Sure. Yeah, no, I think one of the and I never answered this question, but one of the reasons it did have a affiliate was kind of a dirty word was because of the incrementality. So, would I have gotten these sales regardless if the affiliate was the last click? And so it opens up the door to attribution modeling. Traditionally, affiliates been a last click wins. But a lot of brands have, different attribution models that they're using internally. So when you start really digging into the data and seeing how the consumer's interacting across all of these channels, it started to poke some holes into the value that, brands thought that affiliates were bringing. Now, fortunately, with that technology, you can make more data-driven decisions. And so how we work with these different publishers has evolved. Coupon sites probably get the biggest rap of them all,
Sure.
Especially with a premium brand, right? Nobody wants to be promotionally driven. Well, whether we like it or not, they still play a role. And so I think it's more important to ask ourselves how we work with them to drive the desired consumer behavior versus just, throwing a 10% promo code out there for the world. So again, I think thoughtfulness in terms of the strategies and how you work with each of your publishers is really important. I think that's what's really, where CMOs and brands are seeing the value in this channel is it is incredibly efficient, and these publishers and affiliates can help throughout the entire consumer journey.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool when you can really get your message like in front of the consumer right when they need it in the right part of that journey. And I do think affiliate can really like play a key role in delivering on that. So so one of the things that I wrote a blog on recently was on ad fraud. Fraud is happening in like the pay-per-click industry, of course, and I imagine it happens in the affiliate side of things as well. So how are brands addressing ad fraud with affiliates these days?
Sure. Yeah, there's there's a lot of different ways this shows up. When it comes to direct to consumer e-commerce, obviously, having those checks and balances, being able to look at different data points to assess the risk and quality of that transaction. And there's vendors and platforms that have come into this space specific to affiliate, where they're looking at a data set, of 10, 15, 20 different pieces of information, looking at IP versus, zip code and all these different data points, and then ranking or assessing the risk of that transaction. So that's really at the point of sale. And then again, working with the e-commerce platform, whether that's Shopify, Woo, whatever that is, making sure you have that tightened up. But you can also address that more upstream and having the right technology to really assess and identify where traffic's coming from, where publishers are promoting your brand. And again, not all traffic is good traffic, and not all sales are good sales. So it's really, again, using that data and using those tools to refine your strategy and make sure that, the publishers that you're working with are legitimate and ultimately getting in front of your target audience.
Yeah. Awesome. I know that when we were kind of prepping for this interview, you mentioned compliance, that was pretty important. So can you tell viewers what they need to know about compliance when working with affiliates?
Sure. Yeah, compliance, we really look at it in three different buckets. So you have FTC compliance, which most people are aware of today. It's those disclosures that you see on MSN or other online publications saying, hey, we're talking about a product, we're talking about a brand. We may be earning commission. So disclosing to the end user that there's an incentivized relationship there. Unfortunately, the FTC, if a publisher is talking about your brand, doesn't necessarily go after the publisher as much as they go after the brand with the deeper pockets. So again, making sure that all of your publishers have the proper disclosures. There's also trademark and brand compliance. So making sure, and you can appreciate this, doing paid media and paid search, making sure that affiliates are fitting into your overall paid search strategy. If you want affiliates to help supplement what you're doing internally, that's great. If you don't want affiliates bidding on any trademark terms, that's okay too. But knowing, without playing whack-a-mole, being able to identify those both, globally, desktop, mobile, browsers, there's different technologies that we use to help identify, partners that may be doing that when they shouldn't be doing those marketing activities. And then there's the kind of third leg of compliance, which is more content. And that is especially with regulated industries like financial, healthcare, wellness. There's certain things that publishers and affiliates can say about products, and there's things that the FTC or governing body, they can't make claims to. So making sure that, again, that messaging is consistent, that they're not making false claims that could potentially put your brand at risk.
Yeah, no, that's no good. You can't have false claims out there on your behalf. So, I mean, you are obviously a plethora of information about affiliates, and you own a company called iAffiliate. So why don't you tell us just quick, like if somebody's watching this and they're really interested in, dabbling in affiliate or really like going full bore in, what are some of the services that iAffiliate can provide, or what would you want them to do?
Sure. Yeah. So any brands that are, looking to launch a program, our team can certainly assist with that. Everything from doing a network request for proposal and finding the best affiliate network or tracking solution. You can think of that as your tracking, reporting, and payment platform. Yep. But kind of our bread and butter is really helping brands take their affiliate channel to the next level. So we offer a full suite of managed services to help assist brands with that. Oftentimes we're working collaboratively with internal marketing teams or even other agencies, whether that's, PR influence or whatever. Again, just to make sure that we're all working together and, getting the word out there the right way. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I know that when I have questions about affiliate, I turn to Rick. You're a guy in town that I think, knows it all about this, and it's been a great agency partnership. So I want to thank you for being here. We could go on for days about affiliates, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate the sharing the knowledge. And if anybody has more questions about affiliate, you got to look Rick Gardiner up at iAffiliate. So thanks, Rick. That's it for this edition of Augurs on the Town.